I never thought I'd be the guy writing something like this, but here I am. My name's Jake, and I've just gone through one of the nastiest betrayals you could imagine. My wife Lisa and I had been together for a few years, and everything seemed fine, or so I thought. We decided to get married in the summer. It was supposed to be perfect, a fresh start, a honeymoon trip to Mexico, just us. But from the moment we landed, I started noticing little things that didn't add up. Lisa had always been a little bitchy, but she was also charming and manipulative enough to hide her true colors. She's the kind of woman who can tell a lie with a straight face and make you doubt your own instincts. At first, I thought maybe I was just overthinking everything. She'd cancel plans suddenly, say she was tired or busy with work. She'd get defensive when I'd ask questions about her phone, claiming I was paranoid that I didn't trust her. That should have been a red flag, but I shrugged it off. I wanted to believe she was just stressed, busy, maybe just a little rebellious. Then, on our second day at the hotel, I found her phone unlocked on the nightstand. I didn't mean to snoop, but I saw a message pop up from this guy named Mike. Just a simple "can't wait to see you tonight, love you." My stomach dropped. I stared at it for a second, then saw the timestamp. It was sent just 2 hours before I found her phone. I felt a cold sweat break out. My mind raced. I thought about the late nights she'd claimed to be at work. The sudden urge to call her out was overwhelming, but I held back. I needed to see more. Over the next few days, I started paying closer attention. She'd get calls in private, hide her phone when I entered the room, and suddenly become the queen of lying. She'd get annoyed if I tried to look through her stuff, snap back with some bitchy comment about trust and privacy. She'd tell me I was overreacting, that I was insecure, that she loved me, but I could see the cracks in her stories. The more I looked, the more I realized she was hiding something, and it wasn't just a flirtation or some one-time thing, it was more. She was cheating on me on our honeymoon with our married neighbor, Mike. The night I finally caught her wasn't planned. I came back early from a walk, and as I was unlocking the door, I saw her slip into the guest bedroom. That's when I saw him, Mike, standing there half naked, looking surprised as hell when I entered. Lisa's face twisted into this bitchy sneer, like she knew she'd get away with it. She tried to cover her ass, of course, started babbling about how I was paranoid, that I'd misunderstood, that she loved me. But I saw her lies crumble. The way she looked at Mike, the way she lied about everything from the baby she claimed was mine to the hours she'd been gone. I felt like I'd been hit with a hammer. That moment shattered whatever illusions I had about her. Lisa's the kind of woman who can lie through her teeth and make you doubt your own reality. I'm still trying to process it all. How she managed to lie so convincingly for so long. How she could betray me during what was supposed to be the happiest time of my life. The betrayal cut deep. I felt anger, heartbreak, and a strange numbness I can't fully explain. It's like a part of me died that night, and the only thing left was this burning need to figure out what to do next. After I saw her with Mike, everything changed in an instant. My mind was racing, my heart pounding so loud I thought it might burst out of my chest. I couldn't believe what I just witnessed. The woman I married, the woman I shared my life with, was cheating on me during our honeymoon, and not just with some stranger, our neighbor Mike. It felt like my entire world had flipped upside down in a matter of seconds. I remember standing there, frozen, staring at her and Mike. She was still trying to lie her way out of it, babbling about how it was all a misunderstanding, that I didn't understand her, that she loved me. But I knew better. Her eyes, that sneer, the way she looked at Mike like he was her escape route, that told me everything I needed to know. This wasn't some accidental fling. It was calculated, planned, and she didn't care that I was right. There, I took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. I wanted to scream, to punch something, to shake her until she confessed. Instead, I just turned around and left the room. I needed space, time to think. I went outside, stood on the balcony, and looked out at the ocean. The salty air did little to cool the burning rage inside me. Over the next few hours, I couldn't sit still. I kept replaying what I saw, trying to find some rational explanation. But there was none. She lied about everything, about her work trips, about the baby she claimed was mine, about her love for me. Now I knew she had been lying the entire time. My trust was shattered, my heart broken into a million pieces. I felt betrayed, humiliated, and furious. I finally decided I had to confront her. I went back inside. She was waiting for me in the living room, playing the innocent victim, acting like everything was normal. I looked her straight in the eyes and told her I knew about her affair with Mike. Her face contorted, defensive, bitchy, like she was angry I had the nerve to call her out. She started denying everything, of course, throwing out every excuse she could think of. That she was stressed, that Mike was just a friend, that I was overreacting because I was insecure. I couldn't take it. I snapped. I told her I saw everything, that she's a liar and a cheat, and that I wasn't going to stay married to someone who could do this to me during our honeymoon. Her reaction was shocking. It was like she didn't care. She looked at me like I was the crazy one, like I was the problem. She kept insisting she loved me, that I was just paranoid, that I had no proof, but I had enough. I told her I wanted her out of the house, that I was done listening to her bullshit. That night I couldn't sleep. The betrayal gnawed at me, making me question everything I thought I knew about her, about us. How could she lie so easily? How could she throw away our marriage for some quick sex with our neighbor? It's like she didn't care about the damage she was doing. I kept asking myself, did I ever truly know her, or was she just pretending all along? The pain was overwhelming and I felt so damn lost. The next morning I packed her things. I didn't want her near me anymore. I wanted some space to think, to process what had happened. But inside I was torn. I still loved her, no matter how much I wanted to hate her. A part of me kept hoping she'd come back and tell me she was sorry. But deep down, I knew that was wishful thinking. She lied about everything, even the baby she claimed was mine. That's when I realized how much of my life was built on a house of cards: trust, love, honesty, all gone now. I couldn't believe I'd spent so many years with someone so manipulative. I kept asking myself, how did I miss all the signs? How did I not see what she was really like? The pain, the betrayal, the sense of loss. It's like I'm mourning a person I never really knew. And now I'm left here, trying to pick up the pieces of what was supposed to be my happily ever after, but it's just broken, completely shattered. After I kicked her out and she was gone, I thought I'd feel some relief, maybe even a sense of liberation. But all I felt was an overwhelming emptiness. The house suddenly felt huge, silent, like it was holding its breath, waiting for me to break. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. My mind kept circling back to everything I'd discovered, everything I'd seen and heard. Her lies, her sneers, her betrayal, it all played on repeat, like a sick movie I couldn't turn off. I started noticing more things that confirmed what I already knew deep down. Her phone kept ringing at odd hours, and I'd catch her deleting messages or changing her passwords. Every little sign told me she was still lying, still hiding something. I'd find little things, too: her perfume on his shirt, a pair of her earrings left behind in the guest bedroom, even a receipt for dinner for two at some fancy restaurant. It was like she was trying to rub it in my face that she was with Mike, that I was nothing. The worst part was the emotional roller coaster. One minute I'd be furious, planning some kind of revenge, and the next I'd feel so damn sad that I questioned everything: our marriage, myself, my own judgment. I kept asking myself if I'd ever really known her, if I'd been living a lie all these years. Every time I thought about all the moments we shared, I'd get angry, then drown in a deep sadness that I could never quite shake. It was like losing a part of myself, and I didn't even know who I was anymore. I tried to keep busy, work extra hours, hang out with friends, anything to distract myself. But even then, her lies haunted me. I'd look at couples happily walking down the street and feel an ache in my chest, knowing I'd been duped. The woman I married, the woman I loved, she wasn't the person I thought she was. She was a manipulative, bitchy liar who could lie straight to my face and have me believe it was all my fault. Every time I saw her number pop up on my phone, I'd get a jolt of anxiety. Part of me wanted to answer, to yell at her, to demand the truth. But I knew it was pointless. She'd only lie more. That's when I realized I had to cut ties completely. I had to stop letting her control me with her manipulations. I blocked her number, changed my passwords, and threw myself into work and friends. But even with all that, I couldn't escape the feeling that I'd been played for a fool. One night I sat on the porch, just staring into the darkness, trying to make sense of it all. I thought about what she said during that confrontation, how she insisted she loved me, how she claimed it was all a mistake. And I wondered, was she even capable of loving anyone? Or was she just a master manipulator, always lying, always pretending? I kept asking myself if I should fight to save what was left of us or just cut my losses and walk away. Honestly, I was exhausted. Every part of me was tired of the lies, tired of feeling like I'd been used and discarded. It hit me then. I'd spent years trying to fix something that was already broken. I'd been blind, trusting her too much, wanting to see the best in her even when the signs were glaring. I realized that sometimes people like her don't change. They just hide behind a pretty mask until you peel it away, and then all that's left is the ugly truth. I don't regret confronting her or discovering the truth, but I do regret giving her so many years of my life, only to find out it was all a lie. Now I'm at a crossroads. Do I try to move on and forget her, or do I hold on to the anger and try to punish her somehow? Honestly, I don't know yet. All I know is that I'm learning how fragile trust is, and how easy it is to be manipulated by someone who knows exactly how to lie and cover her tracks. I'm trying to rebuild myself piece by piece, but it's a slow process. And I keep asking, how do you trust again after something like this? How do you look at someone the same way once you've seen their true face? Those questions haunt me every day, and I guess I'll just have to figure out the answers in time. The days after she left were a blur. I spent most of my time just wandering around the house, trying to make sense of everything. It was surreal, like I was living someone else's nightmare. Every corner, every room reminded me of her. Her scent still clung to the pillows, her voice echoed in the empty halls. I kept hoping I'd wake up and realize it was all a bad dream, but deep down I knew the truth. I was betrayed, and I was betrayed hard. I started digging into her phone and emails, just trying to get a clearer picture of how long this affair with Mike had been going on. It turned out to be longer than I thought. There were messages from months ago, flirty texts, secret meetings, even photos she'd taken with him on our honeymoon trip. That moment I saw her with him wasn't just some one-time mistake. It was the culmination of a long, carefully hidden affair. I felt like I'd been played for a fool all along. One thing that made everything worse was her constant denial. When I confronted her, she spun all kinds of bullshit, saying Mike was just a friend, that I was insecure, that she loved me and only me. She called me paranoid, manipulative even, like I was the crazy one. Seeing her so bitchy, so dismissive made my blood boil. It was clear she didn't care about the damage she'd caused or how much she'd hurt me. She just wanted to keep lying, keep pretending everything was fine. I remember the moment I finally snapped during the confrontation. I told her I knew about the baby, her latest lie, saying I'd never believed her. That I knew the kid wasn't mine, that she'd been cheating on me all along. Her face froze for a second, then her eyes narrowed, and she shot me this cold, bitchy look. She started to cry and say how I was a terrible husband, how I didn't love her, how she was just trying to make the best of a bad situation. That was the last straw. The fact that she'd been lying about the most sacred thing, our child, made everything even worse. I felt sick. I'd trusted her with everything, and she'd thrown it all away for some quick sex with Mike. I was furious, but I also felt an incredible sadness. How could she do this? How could she lie to me to my face for so long? I'd always thought she was tough, bitchy sometimes, sure, but I never imagined she'd be capable of this level of betrayal. And now, I was left with a question that haunted me. If she lied about the baby, what else was she lying about? Was there anything true about her, about us? That night I sat in my office, staring at the photos I'd taken of her sneaking around, the messages I'd printed out. I was overwhelmed with anger at her, at Mike, at myself for not seeing the signs sooner. But underneath all that, there was a deep, aching hurt. I'd lost my wife, my partner, maybe even my trust in myself. Every time I thought about her, I felt this mixture of rage and heartbreak, like I'd been sucker punched in the gut. How could she do this to me? How could she lie so convincingly? I kept replaying everything, trying to find some way to make sense of it all. Eventually, I realized I had to make a choice. Do I keep fighting to save this marriage, to forgive her, or do I accept that it's over? The truth was, part of me still wanted to believe she'd come clean and say she was sorry. but the other part knew better. She had lied about everything: the affair, the baby, her feelings. Letting her back in, giving her another chance, felt like admitting defeat. And I wasn't sure I could do that. Not after what I'd seen, not after she'd treated my heart like trash. So I decided to distance myself. I took a few days off work, told my friends I needed space, and started trying to rebuild my life piece by piece. It wasn't easy. Every day brought new questions, new doubts. But I knew I couldn't stay stuck in this limbo forever. I had to decide what I wanted, whether to fight for a relationship based on honesty or to walk away and rebuild on my own terms. And honestly, I was leaning toward walking away. Because if she'd lied about the baby, about Mike, about everything, how could I trust her again? How could I ever look at her the same way? The pain was raw, and every moment felt like a fresh wound. But I also knew I deserved better than to be lied to and cheated on during the happiest time of my life. As I continued to process everything, I realized I had to confront the brutal truth. Staying would kill whatever little bit of self-respect I had left. I couldn't keep living in this emotional hell, questioning whether I was crazy for suspecting her or if I'd ever really known her at all. The more I thought about it, the clearer it became. She had lied about the baby, about the affair, about her whole life. Everything was a mask she wore to hide her true self. And now I was left holding the pieces of a shattered marriage, trying to figure out if I could put myself back together or if I should just walk away. One night I made a decision. I was done. Done with her lies, done with the pain, done with feeling like I was some fool who had trusted the wrong person. I knew I couldn't fix what was broken because the foundation was rotten from the start. I'd been naive for too long, believing her bitchy attitude was just her personality. Turns out, it was just her way of manipulating everyone around her, especially me. The next step was clear. I had to cut her out completely. I couldn't have her control over my feelings anymore. I blocked her on everything: phone, social media, emails. I changed my number. I told my friends that I needed space and time to heal. I even considered therapy, because this kind of betrayal leaves scars that don't just go away overnight. Honestly, I've never felt so alone but also so determined to move on. It's like I had to rebuild my entire sense of trust, not just in her but in myself. But it wasn't just about ending the marriage. It was about reclaiming my life and my dignity. The betrayal was a slap in the face, but I refused to let it define me. I started working out more, focusing on my career, reconnecting with friends I'd neglected. Slowly, I began to see that I didn't need her to be happy. Hell, I didn't even need her to be whole. I had to accept that some people are just rotten at their core and no amount of love or effort can fix that. Still, there were moments when I'd sit alone and ask myself, why? Why did she do this? Was our whole relationship just a lie? I kept circling back to those questions, and each time I'd get bitter again. But I also realized that dwelling on the why wouldn't change anything. What mattered was what I did next. I had to let go of what was lost and focus on rebuilding myself, brick by brick. Every day, I reminded myself that I was better off without her, that I deserved honesty, respect, and someone who wouldn't treat me like a fool. It's not easy, and I still have days where I feel the pain all over again, but I'm learning. Learning how to trust myself again, how to recognize the signs of a liar, and how to avoid falling for someone's bullshit. Because if there's one thing this nightmare has taught me, it's that some women are just manipulative, selfish, and willing to destroy what they claim to love for their own convenience. I still don't know what the future holds, but I do know one thing. I won't let her betrayal define me. I'll rebuild, I'll move on, and someday, I hope to find someone who values honesty and loyalty the way they should be valued. For now, I'm just taking it day by day, trying to heal from the deepest wound I've ever received. And honestly, that's the best I can do. Now, looking back, I realize how much this whole experience changed me. It's like I've been sharpened in the fire of betrayal, hardened but also made more aware. I used to believe in fairy tales about love, trust, and happily ever after. But now I see the ugly truth. Some people are just good at lying, and they'll do whatever it takes to get what they want, even if it destroys others in the process. I've learned that trust isn't given lightly anymore. It's earned, and it's fragile. One moment of betrayal can shatter everything you thought was real. That realization stings, but it also makes me value honesty so much more. I've come to understand that I need to prioritize myself first. My feelings, my boundaries, my happiness. If someone can so easily lie, cheat, and manipulate, then they're not worth my time or energy. The thing that sticks with me most is how I felt during those dark days. The anger, the heartbreak, the betrayal, they all came in waves. But I also found a strange sense of strength. Every time I felt like giving up, I'd remind myself that I deserve better, that I am worth more than someone who treats me like dirt. And slowly, I started to rebuild my confidence, my sense of self. I realized I don't need her validation to feel okay. I just need to be honest with myself and trust my gut. To anyone reading this, if you're going through something similar, I want you to know you're not alone. It hurts, and it's okay to feel broken for a while. But don't let the betrayal define you. Use it as a lesson. Be cautious with your trust, but don't shut yourself off completely. Because there are good people out there who won't lie, cheat, or manipulate. And when you find someone who truly values honesty, it's worth the wait. As for me, I'm finally at peace with what happened. I've forgiven her, not because I want her back, but because holding on to anger only hurts me. I've learned that forgiveness isn't about her, it's about freeing myself from the pain. I still carry the scars, but they're part of my story now. A story of betrayal, yes, but also of resilience. So here I am, stronger and wiser. I'll keep moving forward, learning to trust again, but never again blindly. I'll never forget what she did, because it taught me what real loyalty looks like and what it doesn't. And that's a lesson I'll carry with me for the rest of my life.